In this lesson, we will talk about hyperlinks and addresses, and we will look a little more closely at using both text and pictures for hyperlinks. Links allow us to move from one page to another. With a simple click of the mouse, you can explore more than the one page you're looking at, and that is what makes the Internet so interesting and powerful. Links can be used on text, as we've already seen when we created our template file, and they can be used on graphic artwork, pictures. First, let us take a closer look at what we did with text links. Links require the A tag. There are three key attributes. href, this is the address of the target document, which can be a web page, PDF, Word doc, or any one of a number of other document types. Target, this tells us where to open the specified document. Download, new in HTML5, this means that the target document will be downloaded when the user clicks the link. href is the workhorse of the A tag attributes. This contains the address of the target document or location within a document. Here's a simple example. Open angle bracket A href equals quote http://rodmartinjr.com end quote close angle bracket. Click here, open angle bracket /A close angle bracket period. The target attribute is not used all the time. There is one key value that interests us, _blank. This will open the target in a new tab or window. Testing on some popular browsers reveals that most browsers open in a new tab. Microsoft's Internet Explorer 10 opens in a new window. The default target is _self, which will open the target in the same frame or tab. Opening in a new tab can prove helpful if, for instance, you don't want your visitor to leave your website when clicking on an external link. For example, open angle bracket A href equals quote http://tharsishighlands.com end quote target equals _blank close angle bracket. Click here, open angle bracket /A close angle bracket. Download is new with HTML5. Including this attribute in your A tag causes the target to be downloaded. This can be particularly helpful if the file is an electronic product you want your visitor to have. The target can be any kind of file, text, audio, video, presentation, picture, or anything else. Of course, this attribute requires that the href attribute be set, otherwise it won't know what to download. The ID attribute is not restricted to the A tag. In fact, it is one of several global attributes that can be applied to any HTML tag. The ID attribute is especially interesting to us here because you can use it to link to several locations within your web page. There are two steps to using the ID attribute. First, you have to give something an ID. This can be a picture, a heading, a paragraph, a span. In fact, it can be any HTML tag. For our purposes, it proves helpful to choose a tag which has a visible location on the page. Second, you have to make use of the ID attribute in a link. Here's an example of step 1. Open angle bracket H2 close angle bracket, open angle bracket A, ID equals quote top, end quote, close angle bracket. Heading at top, open angle bracket /A close angle bracket /H2 close angle bracket. And here's an example of step 2. Open angle bracket A href equals quote # top close quote close angle bracket. Go to top, open angle bracket /A close angle bracket. Notice the hash or # before the ID name. For this example to work, you have to have a lot of text or pictures between the heading and the link to force one or the other off the screen. This lets you see the jump when you click the link. Here's an example of the two steps being used. Next, let's look at some SEO considerations. Search engine optimization. Search engines take into consideration the content of your web pages to determine what your website is about. One element of this content are links and the text enclosed in your A tags. Don't go crazy trying to maximize keywords in your linked text, but keep it in mind and use appropriate keywords if it can be worded naturally. This can help search engines like Google, Yahoo, and Bing find your web pages. We've seen how text can be linked, but pictures can also be linked simply by enclosing them in open and close A tags. One concern in older HTML is the border attribute in pictures. If you don't set it to 0, then you get a colored border around your picture when it becomes a link. This can be quite ugly. With HTML5, the border attribute is no longer supported for pictures. Control of picture borders is relegated to CSS. Here's an example using the border attribute. Open angle bracket A href equals quote catalog.html end quote close angle bracket. Open angle bracket img src equals open quote pics slash open underscore book.jpg end quote. Alt equals open quote open book end quote. Border equals 0. Close angle bracket open angle bracket slash a close angle bracket. There are two forms of addressing to use with the href attribute. Absolute, which means the full URL, and relative, which gives an address relative to the current location. Here's an example of absolute addressing. Open angle bracket A href equals quote http://missionatlantis.com/atlantis-proof.php close quote close angle bracket article Atlantis proof open angle bracket slash a close angle bracket. And here's an example of relative addressing. Open angle bracket A href equals open quote about.html close quote close angle bracket about us open angle bracket slash a close angle bracket. This example assumes that the about.html file is in the same folder that contains the web page you are currently viewing. If the target is in a different folder, then you need to add the folder name. Say, for instance, that the target web page is in a folder called data. Open angle bracket A href equals quote data slash results.html close quote close angle bracket survey results open angle bracket slash a close angle bracket. Now let us say that the page you are viewing is not in the root folder, but you need to link to a page that is in another folder off of root. In this example, you want to link to an article called marketing.html in the articles folder, but the current page is in the software folder. Open angle bracket A href equals quote slash articles slash marketing.html close quote close angle bracket marketing strategies open angle bracket slash a close angle bracket. The slash at the start of the address tells the browser to go up a folder in order to find the articles folder. If you need to go up 2 folder levels, you would use 2 sets of slash. Open angle bracket A href equals quote slash articles slash marketing.html close quote close angle bracket marketing strategies open angle bracket slash a close angle bracket. The technique we use to link to a different location within a page is a form of relative addressing that assumes the location is within the current page, but the same technique can be used with absolute addressing too. Open angle bracket A href equals quote http://karlmartin.net/other_writing.html #outsiderness close quote close angle bracket outsiderness in the scientific community open angle bracket slash a close angle bracket. Notice that after the page is loaded, it automatically scrolls down to the article with the ID set to outsiderness. And now it's time for your action item. Make another copy of your template HTML file and rename it to sitemap.html. Also, copy the template file to your articles folder. Open up the folder and rename the template file funfoods.html. Open the funfoods.html for editing and make a few simple changes so we can easily tell when we've arrived at the page. Add Fun Foods to the title tag. Add an H2 heading, Fun Foods. And change the X's to something more interesting. What are fun foods? Let's add a space after it. And then let's copy this and paste it in a number of times. Copy and paste the paragraph. Let's do that a couple of times. Then add another H2 heading. This time let's add the ID recipe. Save and close. Go back to your root folder and open the sitemap.html file for editing. Change the title to include sitemap. Add an H2 heading. Sitemap. And replace the X's. Okay, add a list item. Index.html. Home. New list item. About.html. New list item. Articles.html. Start a new unordered list. List item. A href. Articles/funfoods.html. Another list item. Articles/funfoods.html. This time with a £sign and recipe. Close out your UL tag. Another list item. Blog.html. Blog. Another list item. Contact.html. Another list item. Privacy.html. another list item. And this time we're going to use bold without a link because sitemap is the current page. And one more list item. Terms of service. Close out your final UL tag. Save the file and double-click sitemap.html to open in your browser. And now click on the recipe link. And notice that it scrolls all the way down to the end of the page where our recipe heading resides. In the next lesson, we will review what we have learned so far in the course.